Welcome to this taping of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. You'll all find buzzers under your table. Don't be embarrassed if you don't know the answers, because even I don't know the answers, and I usually have them in front of me. My name's Eric Wilson. It's really exciting to be here. My co-anchor, Mimi Murphy, would have been here with me today, but we had a little incident up in Roscoe. You may have seen it, or if you didn't hear about it, certainly. The best news about that is everybody's okay. I imagine that I hear that there are some people in the room who are affected by that. It's good to know that everybody is okay with that, but that's the reason why I'm solo. So she's not up here to hold my hand, so hopefully I will do okay. And a year ago, it feels like that it wasn't that long ago that we were all together. It's kind of a little cozy room, right? But it feels like it wasn't that long ago that we were all together surprising these teachers that we were about to honor tonight. And then everything kind of fell apart. The world just turned upside down. Back to my Hamilton reference from earlier. But everything turned upside down, and it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it's exciting that we are finally getting together and being able to recognize these teachers who deserve it, and it's going to be worth the wait, because this is going to be a fantastic evening. I can't wait to introduce these Golden Apple teachers, because it's always been an exciting night in the years that I've participated, even when we were in a bigger room, but I think the coziness makes this a little bit extra special, maybe a little bit. I think that also it's a kind of a sign, too, of how creative everybody got during our COVID, so this is kind of a way to still make things happen before, now we're all open, but before we knew that everything was going to be open, you had to plan for not being open as a state, right? And this was a great way to punt, maybe. Another great example of being creative and making an event happen that may or may not have happened. Come up with a new event like the online talent show for Golden Apple Foundation, which was an incredible success. If you participated in that in some way or another, whether you showed off your talent or whether you donated, thank you so much for doing that, because this is a fantastic organization that is really important to not only, I think, me personally, but our community, bigger picture, for sure. We want to introduce these teachers before we have dinner, just so that they get a little bit of extra recognition. Our first Golden Apple teacher, Nikki Galantine, teaches 4th grade at Prairie Hill Elementary. How about a nice round of applause for Nikki? Nikki was nominated by a colleague who says, "I've watched her build her expertise and share that with new teachers, fellow teams, and countless parents. She lets students know where they are with their learning, which changes the game for their development." Congratulations, Nikki. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Heather Gary. Heather teaches 4th grade at Whitehead Elementary. A student nominator says this about Heather: "She is the best math teacher. She teaches me like a pro when I don't get stuff. She walks me through it." Congratulations, Heather Geary. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Tui Harned from Nashhold Early Childhood Center. How about a nice round of applause for Tui? Tui teaches pre-K, and her nominator says, "My son started school with issues leaving me. Ms. Tui helped us ease the situation. Now, my son can't wait to see her. He always hugs her goodbye and is always talking about her. It truly has been a blessing having her in our lives." And if you saw the looks on those kids' faces that day, it's not hard to believe a mom would write this about those kids. Congratulations, Tui. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Heidi Milner. Heidi's a kindergarten teacher at Ledgewood. Nice round of applause for Heidi. Here's what one of Heidi's nominators has to say about her. "She's gone above and beyond for her students and parents. She really keeps us parents on the ball for our children's success. She is kind, warm, and a true example of what an amazing teacher is." Congratulations, Heidi. Our final Golden Apple teacher is Tiffany Russey. She's a kindergarten teacher at Welsh Elementary. How about a nice round of applause for Tiffany? One of her nominators was also a student who says she is kind and she gives us hard math problems, but she believes that we can do anything. And that day when we surprised her in her classroom, there was not a dry eye in that classroom. That was a pretty emotional surprise. So congratulations to Tiffany. And last but not least, Erin Sahlberg, the Puri family outstanding principal from Nashhold Early Childhood. And if you're keeping track, that's our second Nashhold representative. Go Bears, right? She was nominated by a teacher at her school who says, quote, "She is by far the most compassionate, collaborative, and supportive leader I have ever worked with." Congratulations, Erin. We will be hearing from each of these educators a little bit later this evening, but now we'll share a wonderful meal together. Also, grab yourself a drink if you would like, and enjoy each other's company. This is going to be a fantastic evening, and as we break for dinner, one more round of applause for these great educators. All right, have fun. See you in a little bit.
So I turned around and looked at the door, and just everyone started piling in. It was overwhelming, and then, naturally the kids started screaming and cheering.
I want to present you with this golden apple to recognize your excellence in teaching.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's just been an honor to have been recognized for the hard work that teachers do.
That was one of my last memories in our classroom, is we had the award, and then the next day we found out that kind of everything was shutting down. So that kind of makes it special. That's my last memory with my kids, is receiving that award.
This has been like a dream of mine since I was a little girl, just to grow up and be a teacher.
Good evening. I'm Lori Diaz, President of the Golden Apple Foundation Board of Directors. I'm thrilled we're finally able to hold this banquet to celebrate these wonderful educators.
And I'm Jennifer Stark, Executive Director of Golden Apple Foundation. We appreciate you joining us this evening, whether you're in person or from home, as we recognize excellence in education. I have a special message from our presenting sponsors, Dave and Jean Rydell of Bergstrom Charitable Foundation. And they say, "We extend our thanks to all being honored for the wonderful work you do educating our community's young people. We are very proud of you."
Thanks to our planning committee for the hard work and the attention to detail. Tonight's banquet is the accumulation of our rigorous process to select and honor 5 exceptional teachers in our community, as well as the 15 finalists who may not have received an apple, but who we know put an enormous energy into the teaching the youth in our community.
Tonight we'll be recognizing an outstanding principal and a remarkable volunteer organization with our Jan Jones Service Award. Tonight is a celebration of 25 years of the Golden Apple Foundation. Thanks to the visionary thinking of our founders, Don Zimmerman and Dr. Dick Novak, Golden Apple inspires, celebrates, and supports educational excellence in more than 140 public and private schools in Winnebago and Boone counties. During that time, we have inducted 200 teachers into the Golden Apple Teacher Academy, and we have honored 15 principals with the Outstanding Principal Award. The Don Zimmerman Golden Apple Teacher Scholarship was established in 2020 in memory of longtime educator Don Zimmerman and with the help of the Zimmerman family and Rockford University. Megan Baylor was selected as the first recipient, and she graduates with her master's degree next year. We will be granting another teacher this opportunity for a fully funded master's degree next year, and we encourage teachers to apply through May of 2022. With the assistance of Rasmussen University and Meg and Rob Hodge, we were able to give 39 teachers grants this year for resources like plexiglass partitions, washable STEM materials, and webcams to help keep students safe and to provide technology to teachers. The Golden Apple Foundation has directly impacted the educational experiences of more than 25,000 students through our classroom grant program by granting teachers more than $146,000 to fund projects in local classrooms. None of these accomplishments would be possible without the support of our sponsors and the community. Thank you to our donors who allow us to carry out our mission.
There are so many people and organizations that allow us to do this important work. Thank you to our banquet sponsor, Bergstrom Inc. Charitable Foundation, our orchid sponsors, WTVO, WQRF, Rockford Register Star, and Rockford University, and our tree sponsors, Associated Bank and Collins Aerospace. I also want to take just one moment to recognize our board members. These folks work hard for this organization, and they see the value of education and what education can do for a community. I'm honored to serve alongside of them.
I have just a few more thank yous. Tonight would not be possible if not for our branch sponsors. Graham Spencer, Meg and Rob Hodge, Lamar and Rasmussen University, and our Apple Barrel sponsors, BMO Harris Bank, Entree Computer Solutions, First Midwest Group, McDonald's, OSF, Schmaling Construction, Schnucks Markets, Swedish American Health, and our golden sponsors, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Crusader Clinic, Reno and Zom, and Illinois Bank and Trust, who graciously donated the use of this beautiful facility. Finally, I would like to give a shout out to our local teachers and administrators who have committed their lives to education and who have worked so hard this year under very challenging circumstances. We see you, we thank you, and we thank the countless others who support you. Thank you for your dedication to our children and our community.
And now to bring us through the rest of the evening, here's our MC, Eric Wilson from WTVO and WQRF.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh, what a great dinner, right? How about a round of applause first for the pavilion? This is a great facility. I've been here for a couple of events. Chef Brannion did a fantastic job. We're still trying to figure out how he made the filet the way he did with that crispy, delicious coating. And I really want to figure out how Emmy got a chocolate chip cookie, because I'm not into the frilly desserts, and that chocolate chip cookie looked delicious. Was it good, Emmy? Well, you enjoy that cookie. And enjoy the evening, too, because this is a big night. Golden Apple Foundation has been supporting excellence in local education for 25 years. You may have noticed that on your program. Here's just a look at a glimpse of Golden Apple by the numbers over those 25 years. Hundreds of community volunteers, pretty easy to make that claim. 13 districts, roughly 40 non-public schools, ultimately serving 5,500 teachers and 65,000 students. That's the impact. And one big thing about Golden Apple, and Jennifer will be the first to tell you this, is that is a volunteer-driven organization that could not accomplish its mission if it wasn't for those hundreds of volunteers that participate. The Golden Apple Jan Jones Service Award is named in honor of former board member and longtime volunteer Jan Jones. Many of us in the room remember Jan. Jan was an RPS teacher for 34 years. She's the founder of Rockford's Early Childhood Program, Director of Special Education, Director of Student Services, and Director of Curriculum and Instruction. She wore a lot of hats and touched a lot of lives at District 205. After retiring, she dedicated 13 years to leading initiatives in Rockford Promise, Alignment Rockford, and Golden Apple. So after Jan's passing in 2013, the foundation renamed its Educational Service Award in recognition of her service to excellence in education. This year's Jan Jones Service Award recipient is KFACT, Keeping Families and Communities Together. That's what that acronym stands for. KFACT's mission is to build healthy futures for girls through holistic mentoring. KFACT programs center on wellness and prevention, college and career readiness, financial literacy, self-worth, STEM, and performing arts. KFACT is doing impressive work. Speaking of numbers, listen to these numbers. 100% of the girls involved in KFACT have graduated from high school, and 96% have gone on to college. We're doing big things in this community, yes. This is what their nominator says of KFACT founder Shamika Williams. She saw a community need and built into it an incredible program to get girls through middle and high school with self-confidence, self-esteem, college and career paths through the fostering of relationships, encouragement, and mentoring. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in recognizing and congratulating KFACT. Congratulations. Oh, smile for the camera. Thank you, Don. Okay, next we'd like to tell you about the 2021 Outstanding Principal Award winner. Let's peek into Nashhold Early Childhood Center and learn about this year's Outstanding Principal.
A local Golden Apple teacher is honored for her work as a principal. Erin Sahlberg was named Golden Apple's 2020 Puri Family Outstanding Principal. She's in charge at Nashhold Early Childhood Center. Teachers, staff, and family were on hand to celebrate the surprise. Sahlberg says the recognition proves her work to empower students and families is paying off.
This achievement affirms that what we're doing with our families and our community is so important, and we'll just keep pushing and keep building those relationships so that they keep wanting to come to school and they keep wanting to be involved in their child's education.
Before becoming a principal, Sahlberg taught first grade in the Rockton district for almost a decade. That's where she earned a Golden Apple about 6 years ago.
I'd like to introduce the Puri Family Outstanding Principal, Erin Sahlberg.
Inhale confidence, exhale doubt, conquer your fears, achieve your dreams. When I was 9 years old, I was diagnosed with ADD and a learning disability in reading. School was really hard for me. I worked tirelessly to be a C average student. Fast forward to my senior year of high school, I was undecided in my college major, where I was gonna go, but I was determined to go to a four-year school. That was until the day my mom and dad attended my final special education conference. It was at that point that a member of the team looked at my parents and said, "Mr. and Mrs. Young, you know, college isn't for everyone." As I learned about the doubt the team had in me completing a four-year degree, it took me some time to reflect on those powerful words. College isn't for everyone. But I still remember that day it hit me. I came downstairs to find my mom in the living room, and I just blurted out my college plan. Mom, I'm going to Rock Valley College, and I'm going to begin my degree to being a teacher. I went on to tell her, I never want another child to feel an adult that would doubt their abilities to do something amazing with their life. So from that point on, I narrowed my focus and never looked back. I've never forgotten those words of doubt, but I'm thankful for them every day. As I now lead my own building, those words of doubt still burn inside of me. I drive every decision about students' needs with the passion for seeing talents of every child. I strive to take away barriers that impact students from learning because I never want them to feel doubt from an adult. I challenge teachers to think outside the box and find strengths in their students because every child deserves a champion. As I push all staff to reframe their thoughts when a child doesn't learn the same way others do, it's my job to ensure every student shines at something. Bringing out talents in children is the true definition of education. In closing, I will leave you with this. What have you done today to meet 100% of your students' needs?
Thank you, Erin. Congratulations. The Golden Apple Teacher Recognition Program, as we mentioned, was established 25 years ago, and the goal is really to shine a light on educational excellence. The educators that we honor tonight are outstanding examples of the superb teachers that we're all really lucky to have in our area schools. Let's recognize first the 20 Golden Apple finalists who were actually carefully considered in the 2020 school year. And as I read this list, we ask that you keep your applause to the end. These are our 20 finalists. Kimberly Brace from Whitehead Elementary, Laura Brooks from Whitman Post, Carissa Dooley from Clark Elementary, Nikki Galantine from Prairie Hill Elementary, Heather Gary from Whitehead Elementary, Lori Granite from Rockford Christian, Laura Greer, Nashhold Early Childhood Center, Tui Harned from Nashhold Early Childhood Center, Beth Hubner from All Saints Catholic Academy, Angela Halsey, Westview Elementary, Lisa Eisted, Durand Elementary, Rebecca Kallstrom, Fairview Early Childhood, Patricia Magallanes, Washington Academy, Heidi Milner, Ledgewood School, Danielle Peterson, Prairie Hill, Tiffany Russey, Welsh Elementary, Mallory Sage, Whitehead Elementary, Allison Schmidt, Washington Elementary, Miranda Thompson, Donald C. Parker Center, and Jackie Weirda, Ledgewood School. How about a nice round of applause for all 20 of our finalists? Just getting to that list of finalists is tough, but then to be whittled down to the final 5 is pretty incredible. So the finalists were willing to share with our community their outstanding professional skills, their personal passion for student instruction. The process is not easy, and any Golden Apple teacher in the room will tell you that it is not easy. It is intense. They bravely display their love and talent for teaching. They've written about themselves. They've modeled their teaching for teams of observers, and they answered questions for a panel of sometimes intimidating volunteers on interview day. Tonight we ask you to honor these top teachers, knowing that they bring the best of education to the youth in our region. In appreciation, the finalists received an Amazon gift card, a Golden Apple keepsake, and a certificate from Golden Apple Foundation. So from this group of 20, as we've already established, 5 teachers were surprised in their classrooms on March 12th, 2020 with their Golden Apple Award. And as I mentioned earlier, Mimi and I were there, and little did we know that that would pretty much be the last day of somewhat normalcy in what was last school year. And the reason that I remember it so well that it was on the 12th of March is because my daughter Allison, who graduated from Guilford last year, and I'm going to mention this because she's in the room, and I'm super proud of her, and not every parent gets the microphone to brag about their kid, but I get the microphone, so... Sorry, that's from, by the way, I didn't mean that, that was not an insult. That was actually, I'm in character for Starlight Theater this summer. I'm playing Snoopy, and I actually have to do that in the show. So hope you get to see it. And she has to bolt out of here for Starlight rehearsal, so I'm making her even later, I think. But the only reason I know those dates is because she was part of Guilford's a cappella team. And the a cappella team, first time in school's history, took second place at a competition at Illinois State, which meant that they got to go to Dayton, Ohio for the Midwest National Finals in a cappella. Guess what weekend the Midwest Finals were? The 14th and 15th of March. So the bus was supposed to leave. We all got together for Golden Apple Day on the 12th. The kids' bus was supposed to leave on the 13th. Marla and I were supposed to fly out on the 14th on Saturday and come back on the 15th. None of that happened. And that was the first time, that was the first thing that was completely disrupted, and it was supposed to be the best senior year. And I use that as an example of, so that's what a student went through. I can only imagine what teachers went through and having to reinvent what they had to do after that day when everything shut down. And it's nice to have that pleasant memory of how happy that day was and how fun that day was and how exciting it was for not just us who were visitors in the school, but for those kids. It was great. And hopefully, if that's the last memory that they have of school year 2020, then that's probably best case scenario considering what happened after that day. But that all happened because of Golden Apple Foundation, but also because of the excellent teachers in this room for giving Golden Apple volunteers and sponsors a reason to be there and recognizing their excellence. So that's just my little pitch about how awesome that day was and then how weird everything's been since. And it's so nice to come back to in this smaller room. Hopefully you got to know each other really well at your small tables for two, but it's a great example of how things have kind of morphed into this new, whatever we're in now, when we're fully open. But as part of the academy, back to the script, as part of the academy, these teachers will share their talents with the educational community of Northern Illinois. The academy welcomes its 5 newest members, bringing the total membership to nearly 200 teachers. We'll hear from each of the 5 Golden Apple teachers individually tonight. So let's begin with Golden Apple teacher Nikki Galantine. Nikki teaches 4th grade at Prairie Hill Elementary.
It was a school day in March that Prairie Hill 4th grade teacher Nikki Galantine will never forget.
We were doing an activity where the kids were collaborating, they were reviewing for a test. So the noise level was a little bit louder, and all of a sudden it just got silent. So I turned around and looked at the door, and just everyone started piling in. It was overwhelming, and then, naturally the kids started screaming and cheering.
Even though it was a surprise, Nikki says she had an idea something was up.
My principal at the time seemed to be dressed a little fancier than he normally is, so we were wondering if maybe someone in our building was going to receive a Golden Apple that day, but outside of that, I was really shocked and surprised.
The new school year begins with both remote and in-person learners. Nikki says the fact that the 4th grade team used a lot of technology in the classroom before COVID is a big plus.
Having to learn all these new platforms has definitely changed us as educators in general. So there are things that I have found and platforms that I have used that I know will transfer over to my in-person learning even when this is over.
Going through the process to become a Golden Apple teacher is challenging. Nikki says she learned a lot from it and looks forward to supporting future nominees.
I do fully support the Golden Apple Foundation, and I think what they're doing is amazing because I do think sometimes we all need that cheerleader to keep us going, especially in tough times, and just that saying, I see you, I notice you, I support you, and I believe in what you're doing.
Please join me in recognizing and congratulating Golden Apple teacher Nikki Galantine.
Good evening. Many of you here tonight followed a family path to become a teacher. You witnessed the sacrifices and the joys of a parent, and you wanted that goal for yourself. I didn't. I'm the first in my family to graduate with a degree in education. My dream job when I was younger was constantly changing, until 3rd grade. What happened? My teacher, Miss Huddleston. Miss Huddleston ignited my inspiration to teach and to provide for my students what she did for me. But I was a 3rd grader, so I never witnessed the demands that it would take to be successful in this profession. And I could have never imagined how much this job would fill my heart. For 10 years, I loved teaching kindergarten. And then an opportunity arose to try to teach 4th grade. I worried that this change might be a little too drastic. Maybe they wouldn't love their teacher as much as the littles do. Maybe they'd be too grown up for my silly, sometimes crazy lesson ideas. I should not have worried. It turns out that fourth graders are a lot like kindergartners. Fourth graders love their teachers just as much as the little kids do. They thrive from engaging interactive lessons just like the littles. I even find that I still say some similar things to those I said while teaching kindergarten, like, we don't use our glue sticks as chapstick, and please take your finger out of your friend's armpit. Can we agree that teaching is never boring? Being a teacher today requires an immense amount of dedication, flexibility, and passion. We wear a lot of hats in the classroom. We're nurses, social workers, mothers, janitors, and therapists. We build classroom communities where our students feel safe and loved. We spend our nights, weekends, and vacations creating engaging lessons so that all of our students can be successful. We spend our own money on supplies and materials, and we lose sleep at night worrying about kids that are not ours by blood. They will always be our kids. What I learned from Ms. Huddleston now drives my own classroom. I knew that she cared about me. I was safe. I was valued. My ideas mattered. I looked forward to going to school every day. I never got to thank Ms. Huddleston for the impact that she had on my life, but I vowed to be someone else's Ms. Huddleston. My classroom will always be a place where everyone is accepted, safe, and valued. All students will be held to high standards, and I will always cheer them on. My students and I truly become a family that learns together. Every teacher out there knows that this is a challenging profession. In the moments when this career is overwhelming, I think about how my life would be different today if I had never had Ms. Huddleston as my teacher. Just that thought is all I need to keep going. Educator Rita Pearson said it best: every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. This Golden Apple honors not just me, but all of the many educators out there right now who are someone else's Miss Huddleston.
Thank you, Nikki. So glue stick's not chapstick, right? I wish my fourth grade teacher had passed on that pearl of wisdom to me. It would have avoided a lot of embarrassment in high school, for sure. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Heather Hulk Gary. Little known fact, that's her middle name, right? Well, I mean, it's on Facebook, and if it's on Facebook, that has to be true, right? The moral is just don't make her angry. Nobody make her angry. Heather teaches fourth grade at Whitehead Elementary.
Whitehead Elementary School teacher Heather Gary recalls the day she found out she was a Golden Apple winner. She says the whole classroom surprise was surreal.
I was in the front teaching a math talk to my class. We were learning about division, how to do division in our head, and we using multiplication strategies, and just this big group of people came in my classroom and surprised me with it.
That day back in March was the last normal day of class before COVID-19 changed everything. Trying to teach virtually for the remainder of the year was a challenge, especially because many of her students didn't have the technology to participate in remote learning.
Out of the 60 kids I saw last year, about 35 of the kids actually got onto the Google Classroom and did the assignments. But I've been really working hard with my new teaching partner this year, and we've come up with some creative ways as to how to engage these students and get them involved and still be able to teach new concepts.
Whether her class is virtual or in school, Heather's confident she can have an impact. She looks forward to a time when students and staff can safely return to some of the things she misses most.
Them making my day in the classroom and just the things they say that just make you laugh. Sometimes a kid will just say something when you're just having one of those days and it just makes you laugh, that they're very insightful and just funny, and they care about you a lot as much as you care about them. I do miss that connection with the kids and having those aha moments where someone that's been struggling with something in math or reading finally gets it. And
being named a Golden Apple teacher during a unique time will make it even more memorable.
It's just been an honor to have been recognized for the hard work that teachers do in my school.
And congratulating Golden Apple teacher Heather Gary.
"2020 was certainly a unique year. One of my last memories I had came from a student. Landon came up to me in the hallway and said, "Miss Gary, 6 more days." I said, "Yeah, right, until spring break. High five." He looks at me, he says, "No, Miss Gary, until we find out if you won a golden apple." I realized at that moment that my students were just as invested, excited, and as nervous as I was to learn if I was going to be a recipient. With that being said, I want to start off by expressing my gratitude and saying thank you. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you tonight and accept this Golden Apple Award. I was encouraged to present to you this evening on the way that education has impacted me and in turn how I've impacted education. It reminds me of a quote from former U.S. Representative Bob Perez. He said, "Education is a shared commitment between dedicated teachers, motivated students, and enthusiastic parents with high expectations." I feel that we all impact education, whether we are a student in a classroom, a parent, or an educator. I am just blessed to have been all three. As a student, I've learned that we all need something different in a classroom setting. Some needs are greater than others, each depending on the person. Some need kindness, some need safety, some need love, and some need somebody to listen. As a parent, I have learned so much about education. One of my greatest learning experiences came from my son. We discovered that at a young age, he was gifted with right-brained learning, but he struggled with left-brain-driven activities. He soared when applying visual and kinesthetic strategies. I researched how to present reading to children, bridging left-brained and right-brain learning. He developed his confidence and began to excel in his skills. I brought these strategies into my classroom. I let my students know that it's okay to struggle with learning, and we all are gifted in different ways. We learn wisdom from failure much more than from success. We find our strength in our struggle. Everyone has unique and beautiful talents we can share with each other. I believe in them and teach them how to believe in themselves. I've also learned many great lessons from my daughter. She moved in with me in January of 2019 as a student needing a home. She's taught me the importance of always having a safe and loving classroom. When students walk into my room, I want them to know that they are cared for and loved. We are family. My job as an educator, I feel, is to do my best to provide the necessary guidance and structure to prepare my students for tomorrow. My work doesn't stop in the classroom. We create lifelong relationships. My goal is to learn from each class, to improve my craft each year, and evolve from each student, class, and moment to be the best teacher that I can be. So I say again, I've been blessed to be a student, a parent, and an educator. Receiving this award reinforces my commitment and strong devotion to influence the young people of tomorrow. I'm honored and blessed to do what I do. Every school year brings special moments and unique personalities to the classroom, but last year meant something more. Sometimes a teacher changes a student's life. Even more amazing is when a student changes a teacher's life. Thank you to my teachers who inspired me, my friends and family who support me, and especially my students who make my job everything I hoped it would be.
Thank you, Heather. Congratulations. You talked about being blessed. Really, the community and those kids are the ones who are blessed to have you in their lives. Congratulations. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Tui Harned. There's Tui. Tui teaches pre-K at Nashhold Early Childhood. Let's meet Tui.
Nashhold preschool teacher Tui Harned remembers the day back in March when she found out she was a Golden Apple Award recipient. Right before the big surprise, she had a feeling something was up.
Two of our specialists come in and they were just acting weird. They were trying to stall or move me to the other side of the room. I just thought that it was a weird time for them to come in to meet with me about a student. But I went with it, and then all of a sudden everybody came in, and it got crazy for a few minutes.
My co-anchor Eric Wilson and I even got in on the surprise.
On behalf of the Golden Apple Foundation and WTVO Fox 39, we want to present you with this Golden Apple to recognize your excellence in teaching.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Harned, known as Miss Tui to her students, says she's especially excited by the honor because it gives her a chance to show what early childhood teaching is all about.
It's not just daycare, it's not just babysitting, and we actually have outcomes that we want for our students, and we work really hard to try to improve all of their knowledge bases and connect things for them into the real world.
Harned says she's looking forward to seeing her students once school resumes. Her goal is to make her classroom as safe as possible.
I'll be wearing a mask and probably a shield as well. And students, they know what we expect from them at school, so I think it won't take long for them to get used to, oh, well, this is what I do at school.
Winning a Golden Apple Award during a pandemic hasn't diminished the honor for Harned. In fact, she believes it will make the experience even more memorable.
Somebody actually said, it's going to follow you your whole life into your obituary. I'm like, okay.
How do you feel about that?
I'm good with it.
Please put your hands together and congratulate Golden Apple teacher Tui Harned.
So at preschool drop-off one morning, a mom was telling me, Lucas was complaining last night about his orange spot, and he said, I'm so mad at Miss Tui. I laughed. I was pretty impressed. He told you he was mad at me? That's awesome. I was excited because he finally verbally expressed himself. This was after years of us working together, modeling language, consulting with resource teachers, special ed workers, social workers, and each other. Mom and I laughed and high-fived. It had been a long time coming, 3 years to be exact, but we each supported each other so we can both support Lucas the best way we could. You've got this, and I've got you. This is my teaching philosophy. I adapted it from the motto from the Down Syndrome Diagnosis Network. It's an organization that connects families who have children with Down syndrome. They sent us a welcome package when we had our youngest, Mavis. Included among gifts was a card that contained the motto of the organization. You've got this, we've got you. I knew I wasn't alone in navigating this new world of Down syndrome and special needs. I had a network of empathetic listeners who could also give sound advice if I needed it because they'd been there already. I've embraced this motto as a teacher and adapted it for my students, their families, and my colleagues. You've got this, I've got you. What does it look like? It looks like modeling and helping a student with developmental delays hand over hand to put his jacket and backpack in his cubby for 2 years, every day for 2 years, until one day he does it on his own, even giving himself the pat, pat, pat cue that I would have given him. You've got this, and I've got you can also be illustrated by the time when a colleague and I shared a set of twin siblings. They were from early intervention and also English language learners. We would meet informally to check on each other and on the progress of the twins. We shared stories about their behavior at transitions and riding on the bus. We also shared strategies. We put a lot of energy into creating visuals, modeling, and praising their positive choices. When these guys are finally able to walk down the hall without running away or go to their bus line without kicking off their shoes and then ride the bus safely without unbuckling themselves, we called that a success. But when they were finally able to express a need, I want brother, we both about cried. You've got this, I've got you. I want students and parents and my colleagues to know I'm here to support them in any way I can. We work together to strategize and problem solve. I will listen, empathize, vent, and commiserate if I need to, but I'm always reflecting and ready to go back to try a different approach in order to reach our goals. Remember Lucas? I moved him from his orange spot because by that time in the year, he was a rock star and didn't need to be close to me anymore. Upon reflection, I probably should have let him choose his own new spot on the rug. But upon reflection of my reflection, if I had done that, but maybe he wouldn't have told his mom, I'm so mad at Miss Tui. Who knows?
Now, as mad as he was, and even as young as those kids were in your classroom, they may not have understood what was going on when we all invaded that day and gave you the golden apple, but they knew something was up, and they were just as excited as everybody else, and you could see it in their eyes in that video. It was fantastic. Congratulations, Tui. Our next golden apple teacher is Heidi Milner. Heidi is a kindergarten teacher at Ledgewood School. Let's meet Heidi Milner.
Right, we are going to get
For the last 11 years, Heidi Milner has been educating local students. She calls teaching her passion, which makes being recognized for excellence in the classroom extra special. Heidi's very familiar with the Golden Apple Foundation. Her mom, Mary Hartshorn, is a past winner.
I remember when she received her award, and when we got to be the people piling in her room, and it was just kind of cool to be on the other side of that and see my mom's face as she was coming into my classroom.
Heidi says she'll never forget the day back in March when she was awarded a Golden Apple of her own. It happened right before COVID-19.
If you hear my voice, clap twice.
turned everything upside down.
That was one of my last memories in our classroom, is we had the award and then the next day we found out that kind of everything was shutting down. So that kind of makes it special. That's my last memory with my kids, is receiving that award.
Heidi says she's looking forward to seeing her students, even though they'll be wearing masks.
Getting to create our classroom family again. You tried to do that through the computer and kind of keep that relationship up, but it's a little bit more difficult when you're all in your own environment. And so when you're all together, that helps you to build relationships a little bit better.
Once we get through the pandemic, Heidi says that will be something we can all celebrate.
Hip, hip, hooray!
Speaking of hip hip hooray, that's a great transition for you to join me in a nice round of applause for Golden Apple teacher Heidi Milner.
When I was young, my teachers would often ask me the question, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" My answer was always the same. I would happily and confidently respond, "I want to be a teacher." As I got older, my professors and school administrators began to ask me a different question. "What is your teaching philosophy?" I soon discovered that my answer to this question was a simple one: Mary Poppins. There are 4 themes found throughout Mary Poppins books and movies that inspire me as an educator: fun, music, family, and determination. As Mary Poppins said, in every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. You find the fun and snap, the job's a game. As a kindergarten teacher, I work hard to add an element of fun to the learning process. I do this by acting out stories, standing on tables, creating hands-on lessons, playing games, and teaching with enthusiasm. Mary Poppins uses music to teach valuable lessons. Using music in the classroom increases student engagement, focus, and academic performance. On any given day, you might see me singing the directions to an activity, my students learning a sight word song, the children and I dancing around the room during a movement break, or my class listening to instrumental music while working at their tables. Mary Poppins also spends time bonding families together. I was fortunate to grow up in a family that includes 4 generations of dedicated educators. I have had the honor and privilege of working in the same school and the same grade level as my mom. She has played a large role in molding me into the teacher I am today, and I am so thankful for her. In addition, I frequently refer to my kindergarten class as a family. Several years ago, I had a student raise his hand during our morning meeting and say, "You know how you say we are a family? You are like our school mom. You love us, keep us safe, and help us grow." This statement is one that I think of frequently and a role I strive to fill for my students daily. And I'm excited to now be joining the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Golden Apple family. To quote Mary Poppins, "When the world turns upside down, the best thing to do is turn right along with it." During this global pandemic, educators around the world have done just that. They've never wavered in their level of determination. They've creatively modified their classroom, teaching styles, and lessons in order to keep their students safe and happy. In conclusion, please remember that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Music, family, fun, and determination are what motivate me as a teacher every single day. I encourage each one of you to dig deep and find out what inspires you, motivates you, and brings you joy. I hope you all have a chance to find your own unique spoonful of sugar. Thank you.
And I don't know if you noticed, but Heidi takes the Mary Poppins reference very seriously. She actually floated in here on an umbrella. Did you see that out there? I was like, what is this coming? And here comes Heidi in that beautiful dress. Nice job. Our next Golden Apple teacher is Tiffany Russey, and she is a kindergarten teacher at Welsh Elementary. Let's meet Tiffany.
That was teacher Tiffany Russey's reaction back in March when she found out she's a Golden Apple winner. Her loved ones helped make the surprise even sweeter. Through lots of hugs and tears of joy, Tiffany accepted her award.
This has been like a dream of mine since I was a little girl, just to grow up and be a teacher. Nothing else.
Looking back on that day nearly 5 months ago, Tiffany says she's still just as honored today.
Like I said in my sobbing speech that my husband constantly makes fun of me of, it's just really nice to be recognized for working hard and giving your all to your career and just having people say, hey, we appreciate you.
Tiffany's expecting big changes heading back to school this fall.
I'm going to kindergarten, going down a grade, so I know their attention spans are not as good, so it's going to be on me to keep them engaged and keep it fun, and I want to give them the best experience that I can, no matter what the situation in my classroom is.
Tiffany admits the Golden Apple evaluation process wasn't easy, likening it to an extended job interview.
This is crazy.
She says the honor makes her want to be a better educator.
I kind of feel that extra pressure, especially with the Golden Apple attached to my name, that I have to give it 150% all the time.
Tiffany hopes her achievement motivates others.
Showing my kids that if you put in the hard work and if you're dedicated to whatever you want to do, you can do it. You can do it.
Tiffany told us that day the bigger surprise, other than just all of these strangers showing up in her classroom, was that her family actually kept a secret. Please join me in recognizing and congratulating Golden Apple teacher Tiffany Russi.
I'm not going to cry today, I promise. But I am not the best speaker, and I really, really hate talking. But I guess if I'm up here to give a speech about winning a teacher award, I have to talk about what made me want to teach and why I love teaching. And I mean, I really, really love teaching. Ever since I was 5 years old, I've known that I wanted to be a teacher. I can remember making worksheets from notebooks and having my cousins sit on the steps of my grandparents' basement and standing there pretending that I'm reading my story and giving my best lesson. Growing up, I drew inspiration from a lot of my previous teachers. I mean, they were some really, really cool people. But too bad, they never told me that there was no fame and no fortune that came along with this job. But come to think of it, my honors English teacher did tell me that if I wanted to be a teacher, I needed to marry a teacher so that we can live kind of decently. And I think I did pretty good. I think I did pretty good. So, why do I love teaching? Surprise, I love teaching because of the kids. Nothing makes me happier than their hugs, their laughter, and seeing them reach a goal that they had been working so hard for. I love their innocence and their say-anything personalities. And even though I hate speaking in front of people, I love teaching kids. I mean, who wouldn't feel confident speaking in front of someone that smells you and tells you, hey, did you take a bath? Because you smell like soap. How could you not want to teach a pre-kinder about Martin Luther King and after they tell you that Martin Luther King was Barack Obama's daddy? Or when you're a new teacher in a building and a student you don't even have in your classroom tells you that they want to dress up like you as dressed as a teacher day because you have braids in your hair like them. A couple of years ago, I copied this quote in my phone. The quote reads, "My job, if I am doing it right, is to celebrate every child where they are and move them forward with skill, love, and courage, and grace. And that is what I want to do until I can't do it anymore. This work is hard, and the work is good. And this work couldn't happen without students. And when students look at us, they see role models, and they see themselves, and maybe, just maybe, they smell some Dove soap. Thank you."
I told you there were a lot of tears in that classroom that day. And they weren't all Tiffany's, I promise you. And "you smell like soap" is probably the best. Truly, that's not the direction that I expected that story to go. And it's probably the best outcome when you talk about a kindergartner taking a whiff. And you're probably a big hit at those family gatherings with all the cousins, right? They're like, "Oh no, not Tiffany again with her red pen." But truly, it's inspiring to see what, as a little girl, that drove you to be and how you treat your students. And again, I've said this about all the teachers. You can see the impact that all of our teachers have on their kids because of the way the kids reacted when these weird people, some in suits, showed up and invaded the classroom. Everybody on that list of 20, and we talk about how hard it is to get that list of 20 and how hard it is to whittle it down to the list of 5. We in this room all know that list of 5 could be 50, it could be 500. There are that many people who deserve to be recognized. But it is a small consolation that the small group of people that Golden Apple has the ability to recognize get that recognition and get that honor, even if it's at a cozy event like this where we and maybe somebody watching on TV may see you and know how deserving you are of these awards. So it's a privilege to be a part of that. And I'm saying that as myself. So I want to thank everybody and congratulate everybody, all of our 5 Golden Apple recipients. At this time, I'd like to invite all 5 of our teachers up to the stage for a final recognition. All right, so this is the Quiz Bowl part. We have a Bergstrom bonus question on Quiz Bowl. You have to get the question right if you want your award. That was what I was told. Is that right, Jennifer? No, it's not. The honor of becoming a Golden Apple teacher also comes with some rewards. Tonight's teachers have received the following: the Teresa J. Ingratius Scholarship for Professional Development at Rockford University, compliments of Rockford University; Chromebooks, compliments of Entree Computer Solutions; a $300 check from Golden Apple to be used in the classroom; a $250 professional development stipend from Golden Apple Foundation. Now, you may have seen a Golden Apple teacher on billboards thanks to Lamar Outdoor Advertising, Interstate Studio and Publishing Company, and Graham Spencer. And thanks to our COVID year, you probably got a little bit more exposure than a normal group of Golden Apple winners would get. They've also been on displays maybe at your local McDonald's and the Rockford Register Star and on WTVO, WQRF, so you saw some of those videos this evening. So we want to thank all of our media partners. On behalf of the Golden Apple Foundation, I'd like to thank the sponsors plus all of our contributors to the foundation as well. We mentioned the talent show a little bit earlier. That was a way to draw some more revenue in and to bring some more supporters in, because we all know how important that is as well. It's a small part of it, but we have to mention it. With your generous support, really, Golden Apple Foundation will continue its work to help further and reward excellence in education through its academy, the yearly classroom grant program, and this annual, except for last year, event. So we thank you. To all of our Golden Apple finalists, our Golden Apple recipients, grant recipients, and administrators, you are wonderful representatives of your peers and of what is taking place in our schools, so congratulations and thank you for that as well. The Golden Apple Recognition Program is really about saying thank you to those who are committed to excellence in education. It's over. Your speeches are over. Do you feel better? Everybody relax. Was it worth the wait? Because we all wanted to do this for you a year ago, and now it's worked, and it's a pleasure to be here. So, and if you're watching at home, we want to thank you for being part of this very important event, exciting community event. So with that, I'd like to say good night, congratulations one last time, enjoy the rest of your evening, and stay safe.